All right. I'm going to begin the show here in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for 12/8/2017. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 16 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius. And on today's show, the 12 Days of PvM, new charity initiative, the top 10 healthiest MMORPGs. Muted and maxed. Do you enjoy PvM more now? Increasing costs to play RuneScape. New monster drop idea. Why does Jagex ignore veterans? PKers, Alt's own RuneScape, and Evil Daves Crystal Acorn. Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Welcome back for your Friday edition of RuneScape Weekly. Magebit here. Enjoy my sweet, dulcet voice while it lasts, because I am straining so hard to sound like this right now that it's going to go away probably in the first 10 minutes. I feel like I'm going to shit myself. I'm like trying so hard right now. Sorry, still feeling pretty sick. I haven't been live streaming very much. This podcast is also not live, as you may have noticed, but Pern and I wanted to get together and get something out, so he's here to back me up. Enjoy, if you're watching this via the YouTube end of things, you can enjoy watching me doing some AFK fletching here while we're doing this particular show. I figured, why the hell not? And yeah, we're gonna get into it. Briefly, I'll just talk about where I've been in the past week. I've been pretty much staring at RuneScape, just in a daze of pain and misery. But for the most part, I've just been gaining some fletching XP here. I got about 12 million XP to go until 120, and then I'm going to be moving on to the I think I'm going to do Slayer next, and then we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure I'll be talking about that in more detail later on once I've had a chance to really kind of gear up into it. I figure it's going to take me a little while before I don't immediately hate it. I figure I'll immediately hate it for at least a little while. But that's where I've been, just wrapping up the fletching skill here, and that's really all I've been able to do this week. I've been pretty low energy and in a lot of pain. How about you, Pern? What have you been up to?
Me, just a lot of Slayer and AFKing a lot of, my Dark Beasts and all that type of stuff. Still enjoying the Slayer. Have you got all the masks?
Oh, the Slayer masks? I believe so. All the ones
that... just find your favourite ones, keep those in your bank, and just force 3 or 4 tasks a day of your favourite ones, and it's not as bad.
How long does 3 or 4 Slayer tasks take generally? Just on average.
Most tasks are between sort of 15-20 minutes. If you get to the higher end ones, like Edamus take about 45 minutes. I'm down doing Rune Dragons at the moment. They're about 40 to 50 minutes. So it depends what you get.
My goal is going to be to put a good like 8 hours of Slayer in a day to try and wrap this up fairly quickly. I don't know what the XP rates are like, but my goal is to... Yeah, my goal is to select Slayer monsters. Like I'm going to build my preferential and block list based off of probably gold gain more so than XP. I figured that that might be the beneficial way to do that, considering my after Slayer I want to do smithing, which is going to cost like 1.5 billion gold. So I need the money. And I assume Slayer is the type of skill that if you're doing it for like 8 hours a day, you can probably get a few million XP a day.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure about that. So I look at people who do combat, and I see them getting like 10 million experience a day, but it's spread across a lot of different skills,
Exactly, yes. It's a good one to get all those combat pets too, if you're sort of chasing those.
Yeah, that's definitely another reason.
Just make sure you augment some sort of decent gear. And, it's a fun skill. What I like about it is the diversity, because you're not sitting there for hours on end killing the same creature over and over. I do recommend the Sophanum Slayer dungeon. That's great for XP and money. even the first creature in there, which you can take your aggression potions for, which are the corrupted scorpions, depending on your luck, that's between 4 and 6 million an hour.
See, that's
on Slayer task, it's better obviously because the keys of crossing drop more frequently than off task. But yeah, no, they're a great one.
I'm hoping I can make 10, 20, 30 million gold a day. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And if I put in the hours in, the thing is, I also need the tasks to be relatively low impact because I'm generally doing multiple things at once. I understand that that's not going to be the case for every single task, but
Dark Beasts and Abyssal Demons, if you've got the masks for those, just make sure you do those.
Yeah,
daily.
Those are going to be like the staples.
Yeah,
and
prefer those as well because Morven does hand those out fairly frequently, and they are purely AFK creatures. For the money that they give, it's a little bit sickening just how easy it is to make that sort of money off those. But
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I've been waiting for here. Is when you do skilling for so long and you're used to, like, I'm making 400K an hour right now. Like the most money I can make in this day is like 4 million gold in the entire day. If I play for 10 hours straight, I will make 4 million. There are people that make that in a single hour that aren't even paying attention to the game. So like, I'm looking forward to that, to say the least.
Well, I mean, I'm hunting for the ranging pets, so I'm spending a lot of time at Dark Beasts, just AFK, with the Bone Crusher, the Demon Horn Necklace, and Soul Split on. You only have to look down every 5 minutes to make, and your legendary pet, of course. The permanent gold accumulator. Yeah, you might lose 10%, but I mean, if you're that type of person who doesn't sort of really pick up those coin drops under sort of 5K,
gold accumulator, man.
Well worth the effort. I know there was some complaints about this gold accumulator. I have to pay 20%. That's not worth it. Or 10%, I think. But I mean, it really 10%. Is. I mean,
it's totally worth it. I would never pick those coins up.
And I was talking to someone the other day and I said, but you use it down at God Wars Dungeons and they drop a 20k drop and you just lose 2,000 that straight away. I said, yes, but the other little creatures also drop 1,500 coin drops, which, unless it's right next to me or it's in my area of loot, I don't pick up. So all I need is one of those, and that's made up pretty much for that cost anyway. So well worth it. But yeah, it's you'll end up enjoying it because there is diversity there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I am trying to get myself into the mindset that like this can be fun. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. Like the new Revolution Plus takes away a lot of my problems with combat. So I'm really hoping that like once I get a good bar set up, I'm gonna gear up some nice hybrid armor, so I'm not thinking about I gotta have like 3 different presets loaded out. I can just have one preset and switch between weapons. I've been thinking this through of like how to do this without spending $80 on more presets and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of stuff that I have to kind of get into the mindset of, because I have probably about 40 hours left in fletching, maybe a little bit more than that, and that may sound like a lot, but
so 1 week for you.
Yeah, I mean, actually it's about like 3-4 days. Yeah. So by like, what did it say, it's Friday, so yeah, like mid next week I'm gonna be done with fletching, so I need to like kind of mentally prep for what is next. And for me, I'm like 8 out of 10 on board with doing Slayer next. My cash stack's not quite there, but like I almost have a cash stack large enough to buy 120 crafting, but I'd be broke. I don't really want to do that.
Well, see, crafting, I would just pretty much sit at the what's it called, the Seren area.
So if I were to do harps to 120, that is 50k an hour. That would take.
Is that only 50k an hour? Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 50k. Maybe it's 80k an hour. I will
I thought it was between 80 and 100. Okay,
hang on. Let me double check on that, because
worse than I thought. But yeah, it's like divination.
Yeah, well, it's like option 1. It's a little stronger than option 1 divination, but if it is 50k an hour, it would take over a year to do. Let me double
Well,
check though.
if you do,
56k an hour with no boosts.
okay. Well, just do obviously when they have the 20% boost, do your harps for an hour down there, but make urns, farming urns are big GP at the moment. Prayer urns are pretty decent.
Making urns is money.
Yeah, so that's a good money maker, and it's pretty decent XP too. I think you can do around 100k an hour doing urns.
To make getting a 120 like bearable. And
you got to have variation.
My main thing is there needs to be at least a gold gain of 1 million gold an hour and 100k experience an hour. If one of those is off by a significant amount, it makes doing it a lot less enjoyable. So, like, if I have, like, 300,000 experience per hour and, like, I'm making a couple 100k an hour, I'm okay. I'm also okay if I'm making 1 million gold an hour and, like, 80k experience an hour. Like, okay, well, I'm making 1 million gold an hour. That's also okay for me. When I'm making 100k an hour and, like, 200k GP an hour, I'm not okay with that. Like, so I'd have to know what the gold gain of making urns is. If it's, like, 800k an hour or 1 million gold an hour.
Let me just quickly look it up, because I think farming ones, they're the big ones at the moment.
I didn't even know farming urns existed. Are they new?
They bought, and they stack now as well.
Yeah, I heard urns stacked, which like it's a whole new world.
Yeah, when they did the stacking, they bought in a bunch newer urns as well. So your farming urns, farming. Oh, we've got to buy the unfired one. So where's unfired?
There's like 800 different types of urns too, isn't there? There's like decorated, there's strong. There's...
Yeah, you only build the big ones, obviously.
Yeah.
And unfinished, where is or non-ruined? I should say that's the one you want.
Yeah.
So they're selling for 1,200. Actually, they've gone down. Oh no, that's right. That's about 1,200 GP each, and I think you're. I can't remember what it was, but I think it's about 1,000 an hour you can do off the top of my head.
That's 300k an hour roughly. Well, not if you were making. You also got to buy the clay, I assume, right? What does the clay cost? Probably shouldn't be
clay.
Free.
There is the if you do it in Prif, there's the soft clay area, 3 steps from the pottery wheel, and you also mine that. It's AFK. You click it once, and it just continuously mines.
Okay, that's not a benefit of it being on the Ithel hour. That's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting to know. I may consider that. I'll have to look into that. It also like if I make like from 99 to 120 Slayer. I mean, I can expect. I assume at least 1 billion gold from that. Like if I
I mean I've got about a 600 mil cash stack now. I just actually bought myself a Nox bow out of it. I shouted myself, which was Slayer, and I didn't sell all my drops. I keep all my herbs. I keep all my bars. So I made mad GP.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm probably going to use that gold to buy a buyable. And if I can spend...
Actually, just to give you decorated divination urn, and I didn't know they actually had divination urns, they sell for 28.33 GP each.
28.33.
Oh, I just looked up a standard farming urn. That's where it is. The decorated farming urn is 3,062 GP.
Yep. And again,
so that works out close on 1 million an hour GP that you're making.
If it's about 1 million an hour, then I'm fine with it, and I would consider it. You would take. So if you're making like 100,000 experience an hour, that means you're gonna make 1 million experience a day. So there's 104 million total experience minus it's like 90 something, right? Because after the 13 million or whatever so that's you're looking at about a 3 month to 4 month period just to assume that you're going to take breaks. So again, I like to take that and say it's going to take about 6 months of time with breaks considered in there. That's not horrible for for a 120 that would knock out like 800 million gold. Yeah, it's a decent way of doing it. Instead of knocking yourself out 800 million gold, you can spend 6 months of your life to save that and actually turn it around into a profit. Because again, if it's 1 million gold an hour, that's 10 million gold a day. That's 900 million gold right there you just made.
I'm just looking at what the rest of them sell for. So most of them are between the 2,900 and the 3,000 on the decorated ones. So except the smithing have the strong smelting, which is 625 GP. So never make those.
Yeah, never make anything under decorated.
That is the only one that doesn't have a decorated one. That's very strange.
That is weird.
Oh, obviously, Prayer just has the 3, the Impious, the Accursed, and Infernal. But yeah, smithing only goes up to a strong smelting urn. So, there you go.
Interesting. Anyway, I'll shut up about Slayer, since I just talked about Slayer for like a year at the beginning of the show there. We can get into our first topic of the day. We'll pivot from Slayer to PvM. The 12 days of PvM, to be specific. It's going to be one of those shows. Bear with me here.
Your tongue's working well again today?
Just nothing works at all. Like, I don't know how I'm alive, even at some points. So the 12 days of PvM. Of avid or aspiring PvMer, love a good drop, we might just have something for you. This Christmas, the mightiest bosses in Gielinor have joined forces to test your mettle. Introducing the 12 days of PvM. What's it all about? Glad you asked. The 12 Days of PvM is an initiative hosted by a fellowship of dedicated RuneScape veterans to get more players bossing and inevitably having fun. If you're new to bossing, this smorgasbord of bosses from General Grador to Virago is the perfect opportunity to get a taste for all that RuneScape's PvM mechanics have to offer. How can I get involved? Head over to the official RuneScape forums where you'll find a timetable for all 12 days and everything you need to know to take part. All events will be featured on the in-game clock. You may be lucky enough to receive an event card, which you can exchange for in-game rewards such as stars and lamps. Furthermore, Mod Lee will be joining us for the occasional event, as well as hosting his own throughout the 12 days. Merry Christmas! We'll see you in-game for the 12 days of PvM. So, it's a fun little, event, little community event here. I'm going to be a Grinch real quick and just be like, how can you learn a boss when there's like 500 people there? You're not going to learn any of the mechanics. You're just going to steamroll it. You're not really learning anything, really. This is more of just like a party, if you ask me. Which is fine. Just, call it what it is.
That's right. And I mean, it's a group of players getting that's great. For people who want kills that they don't have to pay for.
Exactly.
It's a great idea for for those players.
I mean, you should go, Pern.
No, well, see, it's the bosses that I need are the, have got the limited amount of people. So
what bosses?
I've got Rots. I've got the 2 raids bosses, and I've eventually got to go to Telos. That's all I have to kill.
Okay, so you've done AOD.
Yeah. Did AOD. I think it was... Who took me to AOD? Oh, Thieves, actually. Thieves took me to AOD in a mass. He got me into the Friends mass.
Gotcha.
And I got that one. Dave obviously took me to Rago, AOD, and Nex. Everyone knows my luck at Nex. I got the book drop in like 32 kills or something. That was really fun. And going with Dave is awesome because he's a very patient person. He doesn't, he's an elite PvM, but he's not an elitist.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He just, so if anyone does, I know he's got his group out there, and I don't normally sort of promote buying kills and things, but I know a lot of people sort of do it that way. So if you do, speak to Dave because I know his group sells them, and they are a great group of people. They are patient with you. There's no carry on. They're all friendly in game.
It's actually one of the things I saw on Reddit. And speaking of selling kills, is if they got rid of the Reaper title from the comp cape, as we were talking about in the pre-show, patreon.com/RuneScape. But if they got rid of that, like Rip selling kills to people for comp. Like, that would be a huge market that they would flush down the toilet right there. Which, I mean, it doesn't affect me, and I mean, I still think that, like, whatever happens, happens in that realm, and if you want to hear the discussion, you can. But, like, it's just an interesting thing that would happen, right? Is that community would definitely suffer because people wouldn't need it for comp anymore. Basically, you'd only be able to sell to people who were trying to acquire the IFB title.
Well, that's right.
Which there's still tons of those people, you know.
Yeah, and to my mind, I mean, that selling things is a byproduct. That's not what the game was actually about. So
it's just a niche market that has fostered from demand. Demand comes and goes, and with the death of the Reaper title would come the death of that demand. It's just that's business, right? No hard feelings per se. I'm not condemning the community or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, hey, that would be an interesting side effect. That's all. Anyway, on another note here, we have more news from Jagex. New charity initiatives for the end of 2017, and we assume into 2018. This is an interesting idea. I'm on board with this. I like it. So it says, we're now trialing a new initiative that allows you to round up payments to the next whole value, should you wish to, the excess of which will go to our partner charities. All those pennies add up. We'll be testing this out over the next few weeks to get your feedback before making any widespread permanent changes. This means that for the meantime, only some of you will have the option of using this method. For those who do, it will be completely opt-in and transparent. If you don't tick the box, no extra funds will be donated, and how much you're giving will be made clear in the basket summary. So here's what you can expect to see. So, for instance, if you purchase the Gold Premier Club and 3 RuneScape bonds, that would come out to $98, and then you could donate 52 cents to charity if you wanted to through Jagex, and 100% of that 52 cents would then go amongst the charities that Jagex has selected. So it's a keep your change feature, if you will. So to make it 98 even, it basically added those 52 cents in. Where the Gold Premier Club was $79.49 and the bonds were $17.99. Adding 52 cents of that makes it $98 even. So you're basically just rounding up. I've seen banks do this for savings accounts. It's a very convenient way to throw some money into something without having to think about it too much. And I think it's an interesting way to give to charity. I have no problem with it. Anytime you purchase a Jagex service, you have an option to round up and give a little bit to charity. Also,
a lot of places do that type of thing now, where they just donate your change type things. So
I can't help to think though that they're going to use this against us at some point in the future, where it's like, but look, every purchase at Jagex helps charity, so it can't all be bad. Like, that's where my mind immediately goes. It has to go someplace dark.
But really, I mean, if they are helping out charities, if they donated, if they turn around and said, 5% or even 1% of all treasure hunter keys bought goes to charity, I'd actually say, hey, good on you for that type of thing. So,
I agree. I agree. I think this is a great... I mean, I liked the Well of Goodwill, and I think there are some legal issues with those types of systems, which is why we've seen them suspended. I think the same thing goes for, like, paying with, like, your RuneFest tickets with bonds. I think we saw that go for legal reasons as well. So I think we're not seeing the Well of Goodwill, mainly because of just legal issues that arise from transferring digital goods into real-world value. So it's easier for them to just charge you at the source for those items being in their store market than trying to translate a digital good into a physical, monetary asset being, Great British pounds. So I think that's why they're avoiding doing it in-game and rather instead doing it through their payment system. I think it makes it less of a legal nightmare for them.
I actually didn't even think of the Well of Goodwill in that regard, because obviously it was with the bonds for RuneFest. But that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's unfortunate sense, but it's just kind of what I've been able to piece together from the little bits and pieces that they've told us versus just how the industry has been going. And it's sad that that's the way it has to be, but at the very least there's a loop, there's a workaround here so we can continue to do these fun charity things. And you know, it is what it is, and I'm glad to see that they found a way to kind of trial a new way to help out these charities. And we got a lot of interesting things coming in 2018 for charity. They're doing another game jam, I think. I'm looking forward to that. So bonus XP weekend will be one of those game jams that we had previous year with the Game Blast people, I think. So they're doing like a little mini game jam as well as like the 24-hour live stream thing. They haven't done in a couple of years, so that should be interesting. They must have forgotten how horrid it was to stay up for 24 hours.
Yes, time dulls a lot of things.
You only get older, and it only gets harder. That's what I've learned. In life only gets worse. Like if you thought it was harder 2 years ago, now that you're 2 years older, it's going to be even harder. So good luck.
I can vouch for that.
Good luck, Jagex. Yeah, I see all these like 19-year-old, 20-year-old streamers, and they're like, yeah, 36-hour stream. I'm like, have fun with that. You're gonna, you know, when you have high blood pressure at the age of 25, you'll know why, because you were 2 days straight like an idiot. Anyway, continuing along here, we have an article from the venerable source massivelyop.com. Their perfect 10 list for the year of 2017, the healthiest live MMORPGs at the end of this year. So we have here a list of 10, I believe, RPGs, as Massively OP has rated them here. So this is their article. This is a little bit of an opinion piece, but they use some industry facts to get to where they are. So whether or not you agree with this list is only somewhat your opinion. They use some facts here, but some of these facts, some of the bullet points here are actual. Like you can't deny them because they're just what's happening in the industry. But anyway, starting off, we'll go from 10 to 1 here. How about that? We'll start off with the 10th, and we'll work our way down to number 1. Place your bets as to where RuneScape might fall on this list here. If you already know, stay quiet for the rest of the class. Don't spoil it. Here we go. So, first off, let's start with secondary notes and addenda. Numerous sources, as always, were consulted for this particular column. Discussion and disagreement is welcome, as these remain more an act of perception, opinion, and guesses than an absolute law of the universe. After all, some of what we know regarding the health of these titles may have to do more with blatant lies, presumably by the publishers. The obvious removal for this year was EVE Online, which got yanked from the ranking after CCP Games gutted itself rather thoroughly. It's hard to feel like the game is healthy, and as we discussed behind the scenes, even if there's no community team left to tell us that, other titles were not included because they're MMOs, but not MMORPGs like League of Legends, Smite, and Overwatch are all quite healthy, but they're not MMORPGs, thus they have not been included. And remember, again, that if your favorite game isn't here, that doesn't mean it's not healthy, nor does it mean that it's not a good game. It's quite possible that many of these titles will falter over the next year. This is just a ranking at the end of 2017. What happens next? You and your purchasing habits decide. So here we go. Number 10. Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm actually really surprised to see this on the list. I'm kind of glad to see this on the list because I paid like $150 for this game when it came out like 5 years ago. Got the collector's edition. Last collector's edition I ever purchased. I'm slowly making it to a rational consumer. Used to buy collector's editions, now I buy deluxe editions. I'm working on getting myself to only purchasing standard editions, and I no longer pre-order. I'm becoming more rational the older I get, but I'm not 100% there yet. It seems to me, from the outside looking in, that this has been the least healthy year for Star Wars: The Old Republic. I very nearly pulled it from the list, but it squeaked in, largely because it does still appear to be humming right along, and that other major candidates were games that had suffered huge staff layoffs and other calamities. Number 9, Elite Dangerous. Yes, this is probably the one that will cause quite a bit of controversy, but I think this one has legs, or after thrusters. It's the same thing in context. Elite Dangerous has been running for a while now. It keeps on rolling along, gets its players excited, and has run a consistent and neat event for a while, centering around mysterious aliens and inscrutable motives. We've even gotten a game-specific convention this year. Well, technically studio-specific, but it would be hard-pressed to believe that Frontier's other games were the primary draw. In a lot of ways, I think Elite Dangerous is a good sign of what can be done with crowdfunded games. It started small and kept getting bigger, and in the process, it seems to be getting healthier over time. Number 8, Star Trek Online. And again, consistency is fun. Star Trek Online also gets a nice boost from the fact that there's a Star Trek series on the air again, and people seem to rather like it. That certainly helps keep it rolling along. We'll probably hear about another big update next year to improve it, and will be met with sighs of exasperation by half the player base, while the other half gets excited. Sounds like RuneScape, right?
Just to go on about that, though, I mean, we complain about our microtransactions here. Apparently, to be any good in that game, you've got to spend, $60 and $80 on sort of the best ships and upgrades, and it costs many hundreds of dollars to actually be competitive in that game.
I've heard that too. Yeah, you can spend hundreds of dollars on ships. Imagine that. It's like, oh, I'd love to go to that boss with you, but I just don't have $300 for the Supreme next set. It's like, no,
exactly.
You go and you just, that would be ridiculous. And I mean, it is ridiculous, and no one should play that game if that's how it's structured. It's one of the reasons why I won't buy into Star Citizen, because it's like you gotta spend like, you literally can spend like down payment on a house level of money on that game, just to be like, a fleet commander. Like, it's ridiculous. Number 7. Oh, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, the one thing about it is a free-to-play game.
Yeah, it gives it a little more leeway.
Monthly membership, but still.
All right, so here's the deal. If I'm playing,
that you have to spend sort of that much on, that I can't just earn everything for free, is not a good game in my opinion.
If I'm playing a free-to-play game and I'm expected to spend any more than a couple $100s on it a year to be good in it, then it still is not a good game, because, I mean, if you were to substitute in a membership of $100 plus, you give yourself a little bit of an entertainment budget in a game, just to be fair, because some people like to do that, then, you maybe you're going to spend a couple $100s a year on that game if it had a membership price. Why should you spend triple that if it doesn't have a membership price? Like, the logic isn't there, so, like, don't do it. Anyway, I'm literally saying that more for myself, because, like, I have done this many times, and it needs to stop. Yeah, I had to quit. I don't think I'm going to go back to that game, because I'm tempted to just immediately start playing it again. Like,
you're not doing the new Christmas event then, I'm assuming?
No, and like I was literally sticking around. Like, I was playing, literally like waiting for the holiday. Like, I couldn't wait to get into the holidays because I love the graphics from everyone's previous Christmas like rewards. And I've seen pictures of what they look like too, and I'm like really sad. But I know I'll spend like $80 just to get the stupid third grand prize, and I can't do that. So I have, it's like, hey, some people I'm sure would love to do, like heroin or something, but they can't because they'll get addicted to it and die. So that's how I feel about Elvenar.
They've actually put in 20 extra like daily quests, not daily quests, the sequential quests this time around. So you've actually got from the figures I saw, there's actually, if you do it all properly, you have a very good chance of unlocking the whole thing free this time around.
Really? If they're improving on that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, I mean, you still need to be a little bit lucky, but not to the previous ones.
Yeah, I'm afraid to get sucked back in.
Nigh on impossible. But yeah, if you do sort of that sort of thing where you can get suckered in on those, so it may not be the best thing for you, so I shouldn't sort of try and tempt you.
I'm a total sucker when it comes to that stuff. I just it's such an impulse in the moment. It's just like I gotta do it, I have to do this, like this. And then the immediate regret. Anyway, number 7, Neverwinter. Another all quiet on the Western Front sort of pick. Neverwinter doesn't seem to be much healthier or less healthier this year. It seems unscathed by the perfect shakeups from Perfect World Entertainment's other studio antics, and keeps updating and so forth, so it's doing all right. The weird thing is that Champions Online serves as sort of a bellwether for Cryptic's titles insofar as to keeping that almost wholly untouched CO around doesn't seem to be an overwhelming burden, and that seems to indicate that it is still all well. Number 6, Guild Wars 2. I actually expected this to be higher up on the list than it is. And it says here, to someone who has long watched this title, Guild Wars 2 spent this year slipping back and forth. There were long gaps of communication, then sudden spikes of activity around things like Path of Fire, then back to nothing. Path of Fire was undeniably good, but there's also a lot of weird lulls in communication and general oddities surrounding the game. It feels shakier than it did last year. Still healthy, though, just not quite as healthy. We can always call shakiness the withdrawal effects from Heart of Thorns. I'm assuming these are all expansion packs for the game. Number 5, moving into my summer romance, Black Desert Online. That's what I played this summer when there was like 1 month where I gained no RuneScape experience at all, and this is where I was. Black Desert Online. Don't know if I'd go back. A little bit spurned by this lover. Black Desert Online. There was some controversy last year when I picked this game as a remarkably healthy title, but I stood by it, and I stand by it now, says the writer. At the end of the day, Black Desert has consistently updated and kept moving forward, and it stumbles, but it doesn't seem to have slowed down much after all. Full marks of Dom for continuing to keep this game updated, close to its Korean version, if not quite on par. That doesn't mean that it doesn't attract storms of player critique and occasional angry shouting, of course, but that doesn't seem to translate into any actual damage, so here we are, at number 5. And number 4, a title you may be familiar with, RuneScape. Jagex's venerable RuneScape is like a cockroach. Good start. It's...
Sorry.
It's okay. It's clean. It's consistent. It often has a public perception that's far more negative than it deserves. Good.
Sorry. I've never actually sort of put cockroach and clean in the sort of same sentence, personally.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I know, right? So it's clean, it's consistent, it often has a public perception that's far more negative than it deserves, and most importantly, it appears functionally immortal. Nothing is going to get rid of RuneScape. Considering that Jagex winds up in murky waters every time it tries to make something that isn't RuneScape, this could be seen as a mixed blessing. But unlike certain studios I could think of, that doesn't seem to translate into hampering its main title. So, RuneScape clocking in at number 4. So what could possibly be better than RuneScape in 2017? Well, let's find out. If you thought RuneScape was bad in 2017, just remember that it came in number 4 here. So, at least you weren't playing Black Desert Online, Guild Wars 2, Neverwinter, Star Trek Online, Elite Dangerous, Star Wars The Old Republic, you know. Well, what should we...
hang on.
Yeah.
RuneScape is dying. We know that. There's no one playing Castle Wars properly. There's no one at Fist of Guthix anymore. It's dying. How can they be calling it number 4?
Yeah, apparently it's number 4 on the chopping block. That's what we didn't know. This whole list is actually, and that's why I've been reading it in reverse order. So number 3, apparently Elder Scrolls Online, clocking in at number 3 here. Boy, the start of this list reads exactly like last year, they say, except that this is, without a doubt, one of the best years for Elder Scrolls Online since its public release. The reason this one is in the same spot is mostly due to the overwhelming health of the higher ranked titles, not due to it doing any better. If last year was when the Elder Scrolls Online came into its own, this year was when the developers proved what they could do with the title. Now, let's see if it gets. Let's see if this title gets ported to every console under the sun, like you've already seen with Skyrim. Ha ha, funny. Number 2 is Final Fantasy 15 or 14. 14 rather, sorry. Final Fantasy 14 expansion release. Subscribers still subscribe. Geez, am I repeating myself? The weird thing about Final Fantasy 14 is just being the only person on staff who plays it regularly when it has such a robust base, but that's more an idiosyncrasy than anything else. While these lists are not always ranked as best to worst, I feel confident in saying that it's right behind number 1 in terms of overall health, possibly at parity even. And at parity with what? Possibly a tie with number 1 being, of course, you guessed it, World of Warcraft. Expansion announced, subscribers still subscribed, reasons to be hopeful about the next expansion, and so forth. World of Warcraft continues to be as healthy as ever and shows no signs of slowing down. I mean, really, what else can you say? Whatever issues the game has, being 1 foot in the grave is not one of them. So, RuneScape clocking it at a respectable number 4, considering the atrocious year that they had, I think is pretty good. You know,
that's excellent. Yeah.
They maybe could have snagged the number 3 spot if the year had been like a million times better, but number 4 is pretty good too. I'd be happy with number 4.
for a 15-year-old game, or actually 16-year-old game now, that you know, I am really happy to see it in the number 4 spot. I think making top 5 is a great great feather in the cap for Jagex.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, World of Warcraft was always going to be number 1 with the amount of
you can't
player base and such they have. Yeah, that's right. But
I think RuneScape's top 3 material.
Yeah, it's just
I don't think ESO has the I don't know, the depth that they say that it has. I don't agree with that.
That's the one I found a bit funny, because I know a lot of people play Final Fantasy, and sort of everyone at work where I used to work, they all sort of played that World of Warcraft. They all tried to get me into that. What are you playing RuneScape for? Come across and play this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls, from what I spoke to people at work, they said, it's a reasonable game, but it's probably not something that'll keep your interest sort of long-term over and over.
If you're looking for the RuneScape experience, you're definitely not going to find it in any of those other games, except maybe Black Desert Online. I think incorporates some of RuneScape's skilling system, but it doesn't do it as well as RuneScape does it. It's much more hollow and believe it or not, I know as much as I complained about skilling in RuneScape still actually has some level of value to it, like as far as the things you make and do, have an impact on the world. You don't feel that in Black Desert Online, because you sell everything you make to NPCs, and that just completely breaks the immersion for me.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot more sustainable to be a skiller, but it kills the MMO aspect of it. It's like, I could just be doing this on a single-player server. What's the point?
Yeah.
So that kind of kills it. If there's no live economy, and there is a live economy, don't get me wrong, but of course it's very heavily centered around, the PvM aspects of the game. And yes, you can sell some fairly, high-end goods on there, but you want to make the real money, you're getting like armor pieces and boss drops, and that just seems to be very par for the course when it comes to just all MMOs these days. They're all very combat-oriented, which there's no problem with people wanting action and adventure, but I think that, the balance needs to be struck. Anyway, we're going to move in to the RuneScape official forums for the rest of the show here. I'm going to do this next post here, and then I'm going to let you do a few. Let's see if I can recover my voice here. Starting to get a little painful in the throat region, but I want to try and get this one out the door because I like this one.
I just want to say you did time that very well, because I just finished my Rune Dragons task.
Oh, nice. Good. So I'll go ahead and let's do this. This one is called... first of all, I want to say that MapleStory, not the MMORPG, but the person here, MapleStory. I've known MapleStory on the forums, like, not personally, but, like, I've seen them post on the forums for, like, a decade. This is a very old player, and I'm surprised to see them acting like this. But, I mean, if you look at their time played, they have 248 days in-game. They have more days in-game by me by, like, 15 days. So that's scary. So this person's, like, basically, on my level here. And, I had some respect for them until I read this thread. I am assuming they just had a bad day here, and I'm not going to hold it against them, but we are going to kind of, make a public spectacle out of them because they've kept their thread up. So here it is. MapleStory says here, muted for the name MapleStory. Here we go. So they post a picture of their activity where it shows their time played, 248 days, 12 hours. They're wearing the bunny ears, so their account's from 2002, right? At the very least. And it says here, activity. Bought my first Maxcape. And that happened on the 3rd. So first of all, that is immediately where I stopped here, and I was like, oh, congratulations, you got your Maxcape. I thought this was going to be a happy post. I was happy for them. And I'm like, the title doesn't really make any sense to go along with this, exclamation that they've received their Maxcape. But they continue on and say, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is getting beyond ridiculous. I literally maxed a couple of hours ago with my clannies by my side, went to buy and customize my cape, then went bank standing with clannies. Some jackass mod saw my broadcast who hates MapleStory, the game. It's another MMORPG, and I thought it'd be funny to temporarily mute me. clearly an abuse of power. I know it's only 24 hours, but really? It's not really funny anymore. I'm afraid to even do anything that will get me a broadcast. This isn't the first time this has happened. I chose the name ironically. Yes, I could just change my name, but I really like the name MapleStory, and I don't care about decades-old rivalries between games or the animosity between the communities. I just want to play RuneScape without the fear of some jackass muting me out of spite for having the name MapleStory. Edit. I am no longer muted for some reason. I was muted for a total of 1 hour. So that's just a quick side note here. First of all, the first thing that I want to say here to just completely discredit them right off the bat, player moderators can't mute for 24 hours. They haven't been able to do that for a few years now. The most
it's been
1
hour for a while.
Yeah, it's quite a while.
I remember we had one a little while ago saying 1 hour wasn't long enough. They should be able to do 4 or 6 hours.
Yeah. And well, that 1 hour is so a JMod can get in front and determine whether or not you deserve a longer mute or not. It's really to just stop the abuse from happening, and then it escalates to a JMod. That's how it has been changed. It used to be, Lawless West, the PMods handled it. But, we have gotten to a point in society where humans can't be trusted anymore to do their jobs properly. So, you have to hand it up the ladder to the real brass to make the executive decision. Because the players can't be trusted to handle it on their own. And that's why player moderators can only mute for an hour now. It's a pretty simple reason, is, they couldn't handle their powers without abusing them. So I understand where MapleStory is coming from, thinking that this is PMod abuse, because, there is a lot of PMod abuse. I'll be honest. I think PMods are kind of an antiquated concept, but this accusation is just completely unfounded, and they're just going off on a tangent because they're mad about an auto mute, which happens. Auto mutes suck, but the fact that it was reversed within an hour is pretty decent. If you read this thread is just so much fun to read through though. Like, if you're bored, just you can kind of like see MapleStory have a mental breakdown through this thread. It's just everybody providing. This goes on for 7 pages, mind you. Everyone is providing, like, information as to like why this could have happened. Some people are just being mean, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean there are some douchebags sort of saying, as you said, being a bit mean. But I mean, we don't know the full story. There's no posting of sort of anything that's actually been happened, what she was doing, and things like that. So, and I think a 1 hour mute,
it sucks.
It does, but
I've had worse.
1 hour. Yeah, it's 1 hour. So I can't type anything for 1 hour.
I mean,
did she do the old log out where you do it and then you log out, so it just spams? MapleStory did it and it shows up like 20 times on people's screens or something like that. And
I think
shitty about that.
I think it's more that she was spamming out of excitement that she got her max cape, and the auto mute system probably picked it up as disruptive chat and muted her. Just kind of on algorithm, and then when a JMod saw it, they were like, "Oh no, this is just, this is just excitement. There's no malicious intent here. Unmute, in reverse."
Yeah, actually, I forgot about the auto mute thing now.
Yeah,
so,
there's a whole.
It might not even have been a person sitting there doing it.
It's like 90% probably not a person. Yeah, like the muting system in game is they have chat watch now. It's a completely, just like bot watch. It's an automated system. That's why you don't really see many PMs from those gold sellers anymore. Is because generally they get muted within like 20-30 minutes. They get off like maybe 5 or 6 PMs and then they're muted. So that's more than likely what happens as posts here, ironically. Doesn't sound like a PMod mute. You can right-click. You can't right-click broadcast messages to report a player, and you can't report across worlds, save for in friends chats and groups and stuff like that. You have to be able to examine a player or right-click text that they have sent. Additionally, PMod mutes are only 1 hour long. It seems more like ChatWatch, whose default mute is 24 hours, I believe. They tend to be reviewed quite quickly, and this is probably why the mute was removed after an hour. Like, is pretty much as straightforward to the point as you can pretty much ask for. Like, if a JMod actually took the time to respond, that's probably exactly what they will say. Although this post has become literal, like, the apocalypse, and I don't think any JMod. I mean, it's just too late. It's locked at this point. No, there's no room for anyone to step in. PMods finally decided to shut this down a couple of days ago, as the thread, quote unquote, progressively moved off topic. It just became an insult thread where everyone just starts bashing PMods, bashing MapleStory, bashing each other. It's human beings are just horrible creatures, really, is what I've come to discover.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Sitting behind it, I mean, and it's technology that's done it. Sitting behind keyboards where you're not face to face with someone, all your keyboard warriors out there who just like to troll and cause trouble and such. It brings out the worst in people.
It does. It does. The internet seems to bring out the worst in people.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's move on to the next one. And,
let's do it.
This comes from Checo, who has a good question. He says, do you enjoy PvM more now? So, hey, everyone. Today I had a discussion with some clanmates. The question was if we actually enjoy PvM more now than back then. 10 out of 12 said that PvM had become much better since EOC come out, and I must say that I like it more too. I think EOC gave Jagex a lot of open space to create new PvM content, like God Wars Dungeon 2, Virago, Araxi, and much more. And I also think that PvM is more skill-based now. I went to Vindicta with a friend, and we both had the same gear. He literally got like 20 to 30 second kills faster than me, and pretty much gave me the will to improve in PvM. While back then, you just had to pray RNG to actually hit high. So yeah, do you guys enjoy PvM more now than pre-EOC, or did you enjoy it more back then? Sorry if my English isn't perfect, I'm from Germany. So this is exactly what I said. I did not like PvM. Slayer was my worst task pre-EOC. I hated Slayer back then. And then EOC come out, and it was just more fun for me, you know.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, and I this is exactly why I don't use Legacy Combat, despite thinking I think that the EOC combat system is ill-fitted for a point-and-click RPG. I also think that it is an improvement over old school RuneScape combat, so I'm willing to concede there. But I think it still.
And what
has
I
a lot
love
of
on this, there was one person that said they like it less, but the others on there all said that they prefer it with EOC.
It's definitely more interesting. Like you can't. There's no denying the fact that EOC makes combat more interesting. And
there's even one. Sorry, there's even one from here. Zed Paranoid, who says, "I'd go so far as to say post EOC, I've become enjoying bosses just as much as."
Interesting. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Revolution ++ makes me enjoy EOC more than previous. I just basically don't want to think about combat unless I want to think about combat. And it's just not very often that I want to actively to do that. So I think that most of my issues are currently solved, but we're going to put that to the test, I guess.
EOC++, to be honest, I only really use that at Dark Beasts and Abyssal Demons, just to sort of get off my ultimate in Dark Beasts.
I just wanted to fire off my thresholds.
And a couple of thresholds in the in Abyssal Demons, but for the rest of them, I leave it just my basics and shoot off my thresholds, because that sort of adds that little bit for me. So okay, now
why
I want
do
to
you?
Hit the threshold
just out of curiosity, like why
Yeah.
do you want control over your thresholds on non-bossing tasks?
Because they hit harder, and I mean, if it kicks in, they've got like 300 life points left. It's like it's a waste. Whereas, if you're doing
I see what you mean.
Your rapid fire takes down like 10k life points.
Sure,
it's a waste if it strikes when it's 1,000k life points.
Gotcha.
Like
so you're basically down to min-maxing efficiency. Okay, you're on a. That's I don't mean that in the sense of like you're making the decision to improve your efficiency. It's
but
okay. That's
when you're doing Abyssal Demons, it doesn't matter because obviously down there with the scythe, and you're using the quake and sort of Hurricane and such, they're great because you've got five of them around you at once and just bang and just whack them all hard at once.
Yeah, I want to do as many tasks with the scythe as possible.
Yes, yeah. If you've got the scythe with the EOC++ is awesome.
Yeah, that's I want to be able to go to a task and only just be kind of pretty much keeping an eye on my health and making sure I'm in combat.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to be keeping an eye on for the most part. And I know there's some tasks that that's not the case. Like you can't do that at Ripper Demons, obviously.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't do that at Lava Strike, where it's probably got to pay a little more attention when you're in areas like that. But like 8 or 7 out of 10 tasks, I would like to be lean back, and then like 3 out of 10 tasks, I'd like to be lean forward. Like I want to keep my my AFK ability kind of not completely, but most of the time. Like there are certain tasks that, even though like if I get a Ripper Demon tasks and it's like 6 o'clock at night, I might cancel it. You know, use Slayer points to cancel it, even though I know it's good. You know, whatever. Just because I'm looking for a task where I can kind of, you know, lean back, watch, you know, Netflix and not pay attention. So, and that also might be like, you know, a thing like, for me, server reset is at 7 p.m. in the evening in the winter. And, you know, that's a great time to do all my, you know, preferred masks that reset. Is probably save those for the nighttime. So you have all your preferred tasks that are AFK, and then you do the more grueling tasks, the more taxing tasks during the day, I guess. I don't know. I'll shut up about PvM. Point being is I can't answer this question that Checo has presented here until probably like a couple weeks from now. We will find out. And I don't ask me on day 1 through 5 though. Anywhere in that period, I'm probably going to tell you I hate it. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
I feel like the closer
you'll find you'll start enjoying it. And as I said, with the differences out there, the
closer I get to 120, the more I'm gonna like it.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be closer. To
but if you got your scythe, make sure you do your Edamu tasks.
Oh yeah,
they're great GP and great XP.
I've got an Eddie task lined up already. That's like a 251 Edamu lined up, all ready to go. It's gonna be my first task. I'm gonna jump right in. Looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it, though. Continuing along here.
Okay, this one is from Lizard King O, who has a bit of a problem about the increasing cost to players. What prompts this message is that I saw an ad stating that RS is currently offering the best membership deal of the year, which is not a deal compared to before. I have been gone from RS for about a year, and I started playing 7 years ago. There are a few reasons I stopped playing a year ago. Busy life is one of them, to be fair. But one of the other reasons that I felt Jagex is getting greedy. With the new additional ways Jagex makes money, bonds, Rune Metrics Pro, Treasure Hunter Key System, Runecoin System, Premier Club, and the ever-increasing membership fee. When I originally started to play, it was $5. Now it is double. I understand things increase with time, but if you compare... If the company starts to increase their revenue with additional systems, sorry, that was bad grammar and it just threw me right off.
I know. I was wowing at him.
Yeah. But if the company starts to increase their revenue with additional systems, bond system, again they list it all, that allows the players willing to pay more than the membership fee to progress faster, track their progress, why continue to increase membership costs?
They didn't though.
Oh no, you just start to annoy loyal players that want to play every now and then as a hobby.
You can't disappear for 7 years and complain that the price increased.
Exactly.
If I go to I haven't been to the Museum of Science in like 10 years. If I go there and find out that it's like $50, I can't be like, well, it was like 10 last time I came in 1999. It's like, no. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
It's called inflation. Things go up. And
it hasn't even gone up recently. It actually went, it's like it's gone down.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, at $5, I think it costs you an extra 50 cents a month. The Premiership Club, it is, you know, last year and this year have been the best ever. It is cheaper than anything other than that original $5.
Remember the old Premier Club was like for
$130 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The last year of IVP.
So, yeah, like the fact that they're complaining about the current Premier Club is kind of silly to me, considering it's like $50 cheap.
I like this one here though. Also, I have always been curious why Runemetric Pro even costs money. It is something that would have took a day to code, and there is no upkeep costs.
Oh, definitely.
Would you like to answer that one?
First of all,
servers that have to be paid for to store the data.
First of all, I just want to call them on their bluff, and I want to see them make rune metrics in a day. That's what I really want to see here, because I am I know the dude who made maxcape.com and the calculations required to like create that website. He just to recode it took him an entire month. You know, and he's one dude, and I believe the rune metrics team is like 2 people. So, like, just the fact that he says that they can be coded in a day, shove it up your ass, first of all. Second of all, like, Runemetrics is free. You're paying for the ability to store long-term metrics. That's what you're paying for. You can use Runemetrics all you want. It just isn't going to give you historical data. And it's not going to give you averages because it has no historical data to give you averages on. But, like, Runemetrics itself is just like an enhanced version of the old Adventures log. There's so many things I hate about this post.
Oh, no. Blackwing says down further, he's complaining, Jagex is honestly being too greedy with its pricing model. The 2016 and 15 financial reports don't lie. Jagex has been making insane profit for the last few years. So having both predatory MTX and expensive subscription fee isn't at all justified. I'm sorry, $5 a month or $5. What is it? I think it works out about $6 a month. It works out with the Premier Club. You know, and in all honesty, 27 million pounds is not an insane amount of profit for a company that hires 400 odd people.
Yeah,
that's a pretty modest,
especially like
profit margin. So
in the games industry, I mean, Blizzard. Think about like basically their rivals, Blizzard, with making World of Warcraft, brought in over $1 billion in profit. So yeah, it is pretty modest compared to like their rival, basically. So yeah, RuneScape's small potatoes in the game industry, and that's one of my major fears is when they can no longer rely on. I'm kind of afraid that like Treasure Hunter is going to get pulled out from under their feet, and they're going to lose a lot of profit. Like I really hope that they have a plan, like a contingency plan, and I'm sure they do. But like, it's very obvious that Jagex doesn't make its main money off of the membership. That's why they can offer Premier Club at a discount, because they make their money off of microtransactions. I don't have a problem with them making money off of microtransactions. They just need to do it responsibly, you know, in a way that doesn't milk their players in ways that are just egregious, and also don't impulse their players into making regrettable transactions. As long as those two things are not being done, then I don't have a problem with microtransactions. Just, you know, be fair. You know, I mean, you can go and spend what, like $120 and get like 500 million gold. You could do that if you wanted, right? But, you know, you don't really need to do that, because you can get 500 million gold in probably less time than it takes you to make that money in like the outside, if you have the right skills. Like, there's a balance there. You can obtain those skills, so there's no like you have to rush to throw money at the game, because there's no possible way you'll ever be able to get that kind of money without doing that. That's the thing that I love about RuneScape. But on the flip side, things like Treasure Hunter, you know, and they've been doing a really good job of kind of dulling down the effects of Treasure Hunter, I think. But, you know, just Treasure Hunter used to be the go-to place to get your unfair advantages, and I'm glad to see that they're moving away from that, but they are still heavy on the XP grabs for Treasure Hunter, which is, I think, where they're getting a lot of their money from, and I think that they should really just shift that away from just selling XP boosting items in the general store, just to avoid the negative social repercussions that you are going to obtain by selling randomized, chances at those same XP boosts. I think if anything, you might not make as much money because you're not playing on people's desire to win a random thing. That chance that exists in gambling that makes it exciting and addicting. You're gonna miss out on those, but there's still tons of people that just want to buy experience. So I just think that that's a better model. And
I still think it should be just XP boosters, not straight XP.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go,
that's one thing I don't like about Treasure Hunter's lamps. I think the stars are a much better option because you still have to go and train the skill. It's not just buying the skill. So,
I would go one step further than you would, and I'd say yes to that. And also, once you're 99 into skill, you have to gain XP the normal way. You can't purchase XP anymore past 99. And I know that's not going to be a popular opinion with a lot of people, but that's where my line is.
Yeah, I just think with what we're looking at sort of long term, I think 120 is not going to be virtual for too much longer. I think they will start moving skills to a proper 120 and developing content in that area. So
if actual content comes to 120s, I'm willing to revise my opinion. Yeah. But as they're currently virtual, and if it's not a virtual 120, I'm fine with being able to purchase bonus experience in it. But if it's just a cosmetic, I just don't see the need for somebody to want to ruin the prestige of a cosmetic just because they have money. But if it's to access game content, and it's because you just started playing RuneScape, and this is where I think the real market is like if you're returning to RuneScape or just starting to play RuneScape, and you have a level effing 3 account, it could be years, depending on your play style, before you're even able to play with your friend who probably told you to play the game in the first place. I get that, and I'm all for getting people up to speed and basically skipping 10 years of progress so they can play with their friends and not be, not immediately quit the game. It just has to be done in a way that doesn't abuse players psychologically and financially, and also doesn't completely devalue what did take me 16 years to achieve. And that's very hard to ask for all of those things. I'm basically asking for I want something that is both indestructible and destructible at the same time. I'm asking for the impossible is what I'm saying here by saying that I want you to not devalue my achievements, but also get this person artificially up to where I am is not a reasonable request. So there has to be give and take on both ends there, and I understand that, and I'm willing to compromise. I'm just not willing to have. I'm not willing to be completely left out in the cold, is what I'm saying.
Maybe have an asterisk beside them because they bought extra XP on their skill. You get a gold number on your skill, they only get a silver one or something like that.
I don't know. I don't have a good explanation for it yet, but and it's something I got to think about. And and it's something that may never have to do, so it may never be worth thinking about. I don't know.
One thing I do want these people to think about when they complain about this type of stuff, even if you even double the price at $20, at $10 a month, up from their $5, look at the hours you play in the game. If you play more than 2 hours in a month, well, you've done better than going to the movies anyway for a 2-hour movie.
I agree, and that's how I sell it to myself pretty much every year, is entertainment, my main source of entertainment. I play probably 2,000 hours of RuneScape a year, maybe more, I don't know. But I play a lot of RuneScape a year, and the fact that I'm paying $100, I go and spend $60 on takeout food once a month.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
This almost... It's so stupid. If I can spend $60 to have food delivered to my house once a month, why can't I spend $85 once a year for thousands of hours of entertainment? I don't get that either.
That's exactly how I look at it, because I'm taking my son going to see Justice TV and the new all the new, because we love our superheroes, so we go see those. For the two of us to go, by the time you buy drinks and everything, that's $50.
Yeah, easy.
For 90 minutes entertainment.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't been to the movie theater, and I haven't gone to the movie theater in years because of that. The last time I went to the movie theater, you want to see microtransactions incarnate? Go to a fucking movie theater.
Popcorn.
All right, here's the way.
50 cents worth of popcorn, and they charge you $12.
And the way they lay the theater out though is also like perfectly designed to get you to spend all your money before going into the movie. It's like, it's amazing. I walk in the door and it's like, okay, ticket booths immediately in front of you. All right, reserve your movie. And there's always at least like a half an hour to an hour wait before your film, because you want to get good seats. You got to get there early to purchase the good seats. So, okay, we're here. We've reserved a movie. It's, we picked our seats. It's not for an hour. And it's like, all right, to your left, they've got a freaking arcade. To your right, they've got a bar. Straight in front of you, concessions. It's like, no matter where you go.
The lolly store.
Yeah, it's like you got some form of money. It's like, you got an hour to kill. Are you going to go and drink at the bar? Or are you going to go into the arcade and play some, arcade games? Either way, you're spending money. Or are you going to go to the concession stand and start eating an hour before the show starts? The answer to that is yes. But... that's the thing, is like, the last time I went to the movie theater, I think I spent like $100 before I even got into the movies, between drinks, food, and games, because I was waiting and bored. Like, no more of that. No, I if it's not on Netflix, I don't get to see it. That's how I live my life now.
Yeah,
it's too expensive.
Yeah, no, it's only the superhero ones we go to, and everything else.
That's fair.
And you wait 6 months, it's on DVD or on Blu-ray here for $15. So you buy it, you own it, and you can watch it whenever you like.
Exactly.
If it's a good movie, his mates can come over and watch it. It keeps them entertained and things like that. So that's basically the way I do it these days.
I won't even. If it isn't on Netflix, I will not watch. If it's not on Netflix or on demand television, I just don't get to see it anymore. I won't bother with it. It's just too much.
Speaking of on demand, check out a show called Lucifer.
Oh, I've heard about that as a kid.
Netflix. That is awesome. I want to be that guy. If that's Lucifer that's in hell, send me to hell. He is awesome. It's just like, I want to be him.
Yeah, that show looks really fun.
It is. Yeah, no, it really is. It was on Netflix, and I thought, well, just check this out. And I was hooked from the first episode.
I think that's a primetime. Is that a primetime Fox show? I think I was seeing ads for it watching. I think Fox the other day. It looks like something. I think it's on like its second or third season at this point, but it looks like something I could get into.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very good.
I've been super into Mr. Robot. That's been like the only big production show that I've been watching recently is Mr. Robot. Really, really enjoying that.
I saw the first season of that, and I'm the second season has come out here, so I've got to start watching that again too.
Second season is good in my opinion. Some people say it's a little harder to get through, but the third season is just non-stop suspense action, like on the edge of your seat. So it's like 100% worth dealing with the avant-garde nature of the second season to get to the third season. I personally love the second season, but I've heard mixed reviews about it without giving away anything.
Second seasons always seem to drop the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
but anyway,
third season's right on par.
Yeah, once if they get into a third season, it's generally a pretty good show, and we'll keep going. But anyway, let's move on from Netflix Weekly and go back to RS Weekly. And this one is from Element Pro 5, who says who has a new monster drop items idea. So my new idea is based on receiving chests from monsters instead of the items they drop. For example, a blue dragon would normally drop, for example, Dragon Bones, Blue Dragon Hide, 10 Fire Runes. Now, instead of the Blue Dragon dropping those items, instead it should drop a chest labeled Blue Dragon Chest, level 10. And then in that chest would have its actual drop inside. So once you open the chest, it would then give you its drop of Dragon Bones, etc. If monsters were to drop these chests, would then be tradable, and you can magic note paper them so all drops from monsters wouldn't take up so much inventory space. You just get chests from certain monsters. The chest, when opened, would produce a random drop from that monster. So let's say you solo next, and over time get 100 times next loot chest. How much would you sell them for? If this could add a new twist in receiving drops and might even or should include an option to receive loot boxes instead of the drop and vice versa. You can also use it in Treasure Hunter instead of XP lamps. You can have the chance at receiving 30 Bandos hard mode loot chests. And within those 30 chests, you may or may not receive a rare item from Bandos or whatever. This would then give other people that could solo Araxor or other bosses to just buy the loot chest and see what they might get if they were to kill that certain boss. This was just a quick idea that I thought of doing while Slayer. I was wondering how much an average drop was from Gargoyles and how much would you pay for that random drop in a chest? Gargoyle loot chest times 10,000.
So I
No?
just started with, hi, my name is Element Pro 5 and I'm addicted to loot chests. Like,
Yes.
are you okay, buddy? I'm worried.
Yeah. No. I don't need... I mean, there's enough things coming into the game as it is without having loot chests to save your inventory space.
He's just... all right, but here's what... This is my problem here is... This is happening already. What he's what he is asking for happens, but it happens in a split second and it happens without the use of an additional graphic or item. It's called a drop. It just happens. It spawns on the ground, and it's just there for you to pick up. Why do you need to take those items and put them in a chest just so you can surprise yourself 10 seconds later, when you can be the exact same amount of surprised when the same items drop on the fucking ground?
What scares me even more, he wants them added on Treasure Hunter as well. That's scary to be able to. Okay, I need GP, so I'm going to go and drop $100 to try and get a lucky Bandos hard mode loot chest with 30 items. You know? It's
yeah,
like,
well, this just appeals to gambling. That's all this.
That is.
This whole idea is just like, how can we make RuneScape more like a casino?
Yeah, exactly. This
is the opposite of where we're trying to go with the industry. I don't know if
roulette wheel personified.
Yeah, I mean that's what drops are, though. They're a roulette. Well, they're not a roulette wheel, but they are a wheel that spins and then it lands on something, and that's what you get. But it happens transparently, and it happens in a way that is rewarding for your time, or at the very least feels natural and doesn't feel abusive. You put them into these chests. And now you're saving them up to then basically, roll them like they're scratch tickets. All this, the only thing I can ever see this appealing to is content creators, where they're like, all right, we got 10,000 gargoyle loot chests here. I'm going to open them up for in the next hour, and let's see what we get. That's the only... Who else is doing this? No one.
Well, this guy, obviously, because he's a gambler. Try casino.com, mate.
He's addicted to loot check. Go play a different game. Like, there's so many games out there that reward this behavior. Just go play one of those.
To even think that someone would come up with an idea like that in this game is actually scary. I like sell J's.
Yes!
Do you happen to work for EA? I'm reading down what people are saying.
You and I just both stopped on the same comment, because that's what I was clapping about and laughing as you were like, wait, I gotta read this, and I'm like, yes.
Very, very scary that a player could actually think that would be a good idea.
Well, that's the problem, right? Is these people exist. He's proof. The Element Pro 5 is proof that these people exist. And that's a problem. They need to be eliminated. No, I'm just kidding. But they should not be taken seriously at the very least.
No.
Oh, that hurt. I just wrecked my freaking vocal cords.
I would actually love to see his treasure hunter purchases. Because I'm sure he'd have a fortune. He'd be one of those whales, I'm assuming.
Yeah, see, he's the type of person who just openly is unabashedly just proud. And there are people like that who are just yeah, I spent thousands of dollars, and I have no problem with it. Where I'm just I don't want to talk about it. It's an evil, it's a problem that I have. It's funny how some people are just they embrace the chaos that is their self-destruction, and other people want to hide it from the world.
It's funny because I love gambling. I play poker and such, and I love that type of thing. But on this type of game, I just don't see any value, any sort of.
Well,
I love my free daily keys, but I just have no interest in.
Even when you win,
money.
You lose because you're not getting anything. It's like they've tricked you into feeling like you have a chance, but you're there, and then they can just. It is no different than when I was in 5th grade and got everyone to steal Pokemon cards for me, and I gave them little pieces of paper that I drew badges on. Like that is what that is. It is this entire. It's all repercussions. Karma is real. It's all coming back to bite me. It's the butterfly effect. I ruined the gaming industry. Fuck.
It's all Magebit's fault. It's all tracked back to then.
Yeah, like, I just realized, like, that's the kind of evil this is. That's the kind of evil loot boxes are. They're like 9-year-old evil greed that we all have deep inside of us somewhere, only these people were unable to restrain themselves, being, the investors that had to put this into the game. I know, I'm going off on a fucking wild tangent at this point. Don't mind me.
That reminds me of when I was at school, in primary school, we used to get the little 300ml cartons of milk. Everyone in class used to get a little raffle ticket. You'd go up and claim it at the canteen. Get your free milk for a day. And one of the kids there bought some raffle tickets and used to bring them into school, and he'd sell them to everyone for 20 cents each. And all these kids are going getting this free milk. And it took them about a week, and they realised, hang on, what's going on here? Why is
everyone got free milk?
We've got like 300 students, but we're going through 1,000 things of milk.
That's funny. That is really funny. That's clever. That's the kind of kid. That's the kind of kid when
7 years old.
When you catch a kid, like, you'd be like, listen, this is why this is wrong, but also, like, we got to talk about, like, maybe promoting you a grade because you're clearly intelligent.
Exactly. Anyway, let's move on to this one, which is by Ojoin Emo, who says, "Why does Jagex ignore RS vets? Because the pets don't really need a vet." Oh, sorry, wrong type of vet. This isn't a rant. I am just curious why there is no version of RuneScape without a grand exchange that the 2001 to 2007 traditionalist veterans can play on and don't say RuneScape Classic.
Damn it!
That game is pretty much ignored by Jagex.
I was going to say RuneScape Classic.
I will say the RuneScape 07 that we voted for didn't have a grand exchange, didn't have a God Wars dungeon. It was going to be the game for you. But everyone voted, and it's too hard. We don't like this, and wanted it all, and updates and everything done. So that's what OSRS became.
Your community ruined it again.
Exactly.
That's the thing is, like, it's like, oh, I'll go back in time and change it. No, you won't. Like, if that's how history was meant to unfold, that's what's going to happen.
Actually, this comes in quote Megaduck, who says, "Hey there.
I have an awesome name.
Was polled in 2015, passing the 75% threshold. So the majority of players wanted the GE implemented into the game. Obviously, this is in old school. It wouldn't be worth making another version for the game that less than 25% of OS players would do it. And even then, they'd say, they might play it for a little while, and no, this is too hard. I want the Grand Exchange. They'd all go back to normal OSRS anyway."
In my opinion, the Grand Exchange is one of the best upgrades that they ever really did to the game. I
probably wouldn't play the game if there was no Grand Exchange.
I probably would, but I would be a lot. Like, if I never knew the Grand Exchange, like if I had never, if to loved and lost, that's that whole thing. Like, if you took the Grand Exchange away from me, I would be far less inclined to play. But if I had never experienced the Grand Exchange before, I probably would be okay. If anything, my social skills would probably be a little bit better because I'd be forced to interact with people and bargain with them on a regular basis. But
no, that's when I first started the Grand Exchange, being able to just go somewhere and buy it. If I had to deal with trying to buy things I needed off other people, I probably would not have stayed around as long as I did because I'm sorry, there's some nice people out there, but there are a lot of assholes and just dealing with those type of people.
Oh, you get scammed all the time.
Yeah.
It was very easy to get scammed back then. Or just very easily, not even to get scammed, but just to get a bad deal. You think you're getting a good deal, but then you don't realize that the item dipped overnight or went up overnight, and just like you sell something and you find out its value was actually had doubled for some stupid reason, and you just sold like a week's worth of work. Yeah, that was always my problem as a skiller, which is why I liked fishing so much, was because it was fairly stable, fairly stable market, unlike mining and smithing back in the classic days. Coal would wildly shift in price, whereas fish, for the most part, were a steady income. And yeah, it was just like, it was very easily avoidable to get like screwed on price for those types of items. But the Grand Exchange just takes that problem away, yet also creates a whole new issue of like price manipulation through merchanting. But like, whatever.
Speaking of price manipulation, apparently blood shards. I got one probably about 6 weeks ago, which sold for just under 5 mil. Apparently, they're up over 20 mil again, and it's a clan manipulation.
Yeah,
the merch is doing it again. So
stuff happens quite often. I had a listener contact me a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh, should I sell my Crown of Seasons for this item that I think the Magister drops that was showing us like 44 million?" And I'm pretty sure that item sells like actually for like a few million.
Yeah,
and that type of stuff happens all the time. And despite the Grand Exchange still existing, like. That's what I'm saying, is like that stuff can happen because of the Grand Exchange. Like that item is marked way more valuable than it actually is, and they were gonna sell their rare item for some item that was basically worthless.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. The Grand Exchange will, if it has a price drop, it only drops at the 5%. I think it's a day.
Yeah.
So if something has, like, a lot of those items they bring in and they'll put them in at 5 mil, but street value is actually 400k. It takes weeks for it to get down to that area, and people get scammed all the time with that type
It's
of thing.
funny because that's supposed to be there to prevent people from getting scammed, but yet it kind of does the opposite.
What it should do is take them, like, okay, it's sold at this price. The last 100 have sold at this price, so that's the mean price, and that's where it should be. So we don't have those type of things happening. But anyway, that's up to Jagex to do that type of thing. But yeah, always be aware of those things. Let's move on to a fun post of the week. This is by Seek2L, who says, he's titled at PKers. He says, "Hello, I would just notice you about probably new method about stealing. I have found a video. How PKers take you into the wilderness with Skull and ask you to telegrab and then get PK'd. I actually have a different method. The guy asked me to trade in the wilderness, and my character moved about 1 to 2 squares to a different position into wilderness, and I got PK'd. I am just about to suggest a new method. Anyway, I wanted to steal money from this dude, and it costed me my Seren Godbow.
Oh, shit.
I don't expect to get it back, but I hope the players will pay attention, even if they think they can resist the lure and take money from trades." And he names the character and his Discord, which I'm very surprised he didn't get muted for on this. But I think it's that badly written that I don't know.
No one's figured it out. That's funny. You're probably right. Yeah.
This is against the rules to mention the ID,
but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Lures other people and cheats. He deserves it. I hope that there will be some punishment for him. Anyway, due to community in-game such as this, I have decided to stop to pay and play RS. Thank and good luck to all players who play as it's supposed to be played.
That is a very...
Yeah. The way, when I first read this, he said, I have a new to steal money from this dude, and it cost me my god bow. I thought he had this new great method he was going to try, and it actually got reversed on him. So reading it sort of more carefully, it's not quite the post I thought, but it's like... Okay, actually, he's got another post further down, which I'll understand, as people are saying, well, it's your own fault for trying. He goes, I understand it was my fault, but I am still surprised that most of the people are not being punished for this. I will think about it if to end with game or continue due to time requirement for this game. I am not a kiddo anymore. Anyway, the next thing...
Welcome to the big boy club.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing that I was kind of shocked that these people, after taking your item, push you to join their team. That's why I have found a Discord ID. He gifted to me. He asked me to clean bank and change everything to money and show him. And then what? I will steal the same way as they do. I will spend my time with PKing in the wilderness to lure people. Actually, it's a normal method how to kill someone and take items. But from my point of view, as the person push, you also give you guide and manage how to steal your money. Report system that you put in game is not enough. There should be a special department or something to send message with screenshot or videos of scammers, lurers, and etc. Game will be more playable and clean stuff like these people. In the other hand, it's like real life. You have to trust only yourself, and I am an idiot.
You could have saved yourself a lot of time by just writing that last sentence.
He's going. He goes 2 pages with all this. He goes. He wants punishment for Lura. I didn't want to go for a second time in the wilderness, but you did because you tried to scam him back, obviously. Anyway,
never anti-scam. It's not worth it.
It's not, no. And there was a great one of I can't remember his name now. He was a big YouTuber back in the day who tried to anti-scam with his purple party hat, and then got to go, oh, I think I just lost that, and yep, he did.
Yeah, so, you gotta be careful.
Yes, but, yeah.
Ah, dang it! Oh wow, you're lucky that you read that post because it is now hidden.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I just refreshed. It's now hidden.
Oh wow! Because I actually screenshotted it because I thought because he had the name on there.
Yeah.
I'd actually taken a screenshot of that one. So when I see a name or an ID on there, I always take a screenshot now.
Yeah,
so
it's the best thing to do.
That is good.
Yeah, good snag. I don't know what caused me to want to reload it, but I reloaded it, and now it's hidden. So yeah.
Oh wow! Excellent.
Yeah, good catch. Good catch.
Okay.
We had a couple more here.
So this one comes from Boy Days, who says alts own RS. Why is it possible for people to own over several K alts? Anyone with alts should be nerfed from loot. It's not fair on normal players to have to compete with people with alts. Surely, mathematically, alts are worse than bots.
All right, wait a second.
I'm guessing that...
Hang on. First point.
You want to take a moment on that one?
I just want to start. Why is it possible for people to own several K alts? So I assume he means several thousand
Several
alts.
thousand, yep.
There's like one person who does that. Like, to say, like, to expect that they're... Yeah, to expect that, like, more than one person has several thousand alts, like, maybe there's one or two other people.
I think it's 800 he has.
It varies depending on what he's doing and how many tasks he can get done, but the thing... Like, no... It's not like we all just got 1,000 accounts kicking around, you know? Like, what do you... This, I don't know. It hurts my brain to try and conceptualize this world that this person has concocted for themselves to live in. Like, this is not... We're not seeing the same reality here. Go ahead.
And to say that alts are worse than bots, I mean, seriously? Bots are scripted things that don't play the game. No one's sitting there in front of the computer. I'm guessing that the player loses this battle as you at Jagex love more accounts made. Probably down to some cheesy selling the game to China for profit situation. Since you claim to have bot nukes, the next big thing is alts. Maybe an alt nuke is needed.
Why? I don't even have an alt. I play one character. I've played one character for the past practically 2 decades. So like, I'm the prime person to have any reason to like agree with his motive, but like I don't, because who cares? Like, why would it matter if you have multiple alts? Like, why can't you have multiple alts? As long as they're not rigging any sort of in-game mechanics, why care? I don't understand. I literally don't understand what the argument is here. How can you make the argument that alts are worse than bots? In what world is that? Are they even, like, similar things? One requires a human to play, the other one doesn't.
Exactly. And the only thing that really is bad is Flare Fox when he does those... rips people off of those untradeable items. And again, they're untradeable items, so it's not like he's making money off those anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, that sucks, but like, again...
these drops.
I don't...
So you have 10 accounts and, you...
Are they concerned about people multi-boxing and playing like 10 accounts at the same time? Like, I don't understand what... because they're saying several thousand. No one can effectively play several thousand alt accounts at the same time. Exactly. To make drops. Like, I don't think this person is worth, like, acknowledging as being a human.
Lord Bucket says, because you, sorry, it says down here, what would it achieve? I think you're just salty because of a dry streak. Do you know what RNG means, right? And he wants to know, why is it unfair? Someone with an alt is doing exactly the same thing you are. If they get a drop, it just means they got lucky.
His response.
No, sorry, he's just got, what kind of high are you experiencing right now? And how can I achieve similar results? So that, what he's smoking.
I just like, and then he replies, Boy Days replies to that and just says, what are you chatting about? Like, he just disregards every question and thing, and it's just like, what do you want about? Like they're like, you can't have a conversation with this person. He's not sane. He's in another realm of existence where hamburger is midnight. And this, unfortunately, like this thread doesn't go on as long as I would like it to.
No, I would have liked to see more people attacking him. Although, I know it was posted 2 days ago. So
I mean, the only example he gives is someone making bills from 2,000 alts, for example. Which, again,
I don't know anyone who's done that.
Well, there's maybe 1 or 2 examples of people who have done that, using alts to make that type of money, and it is not an opportunity that you can, like. I don't condone people doing that, but it's not an epidemic. It's not like there's hundreds of people doing it. It's not like there's thousands of people doing it. There's like 3 people who are even capable of doing it. Like, I don't know to what level those people are, you know, obviously they have their own issues. If you have the time and energy to do that, like, seek help. But at the same time, like, you can live your life however you want to, I suppose. And yeah, I hate it, but I can't stop it. So I've just, you know, as far as the things like Flare Fox are concerned, like, I've come to a place in my own mind where I'm like, you know what? There's evil in the world, and I can't control all of it. And you know what? Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
I just
and
don't.
if it's on, if Flare Fox is paying for all those accounts, then it's not as bad as I feel, because he's putting money back into the game, which is in turn coming back for more
he's
research
just
and development for
he's
it.
just
so,
sick. He just
exactly.
he has a problem. Like, I kind of feel bad for him more than anything else. You know, if he's like a Saudi prince or something and he has like billions of dollars to his name, and he's decided to just dump a bunch of it into RuneScape, whatever. You know, then whatever. Because at least RuneScape's getting that money instead of, you know, Maple Story, am I right? Fuck that game.
Yeah. But that's what I don't understand also is, I mean, he's talking about boss loot or fighting, you know. There's bots were actually bringing in mainstream things like wood and fish and all that type of stuff. They were a real cancer on the game. I mean, you cannot fight bosses. I mean, I'd be surprised if someone could handle 3 accounts at once fighting bosses. So if you're doing it, you have to log out of the other accounts to be able to fight, you know, more than 1 or 2, maybe 3 screens of bosses at the same time.
Yeah, I just don't know how that. Even if it was AFK, like, forget the fact that you have to pay attention for, like, you want to get like really those billion gold drops from like Telos or something. No way in fuck you're going to be doing like even more than 1 instance of Telos at the same time. Maybe
exactly.
Like, maybe you're a god and you can do 2 because you've somehow split your brain in half and have managed to run 2 processes of humanity.exe at the same time. But like, I don't understand how he thinks that it's possible for that to happen. Even if I was doing it on 1 on every monitor, even if I had 4 going at the same time, I don't understand how like anything efficient could be born of that.
Yes. Well, I needed that idiotic post of the week.
Oh, so don't worry. We got
this was close to it, but there is one that is even better, folks.
Yeah. So I believe a gentleman by the name of Brutus takes it home. Is the champion?
He has a great title too.
Salty, yes. Yeah. Fits. It's apropos, I suppose, to the situation here. I'll try and round it out here. So, Evil Daves Crystal Acorn is the title, and he says, "I've heard of some folks digging up their crystal tree to try and plant Evil Daves Crystal Acorn. That did not end well. This type of thing makes your customers really, really, really mad. Maybe in the future, don't add content like this.
Yeah, so he's heard of some folks. It's like my friend did.
Yeah. I have a friend and or family member that may or may not have dug up their crystal tree. I mean, come on. Why would you do that?
Exactly. A, it's from a quest. B, it's actually got the little quest icon there, so it knows. C, if you try and do it, it actually gives you a warning. Alexandrina of Menaphos has a great answer. Jagex can't be held responsible for the lack of intelligence in some people. It was clearly labelled as a quest item from a quest with moderate requirements. Did people honestly think that this was going to give you the highest level tree seed in the game? A seed that is exceedingly rare and a required for maxing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really... I don't feel any pity for this individual. I just feel shame for their actions.
There's actually someone who's admitted to doing it. Sorxa, I lost one of my real crystal acorns to replace the fake from that quest. When I'm trying to plant the fake seed, it only reads, "Nice try." Then the fake seed is gone, and the patch is still empty. The whole quest is very annoying. Rewards not appropriate. Too much XP. Story is trash. Funny only if you are very drunken, or for developers who like fooling players. I agree it was too much XP, but
for an intermediate quest.
But still, it's Veteran Immortalized. Why is everyone spreading lies that you can't plant seed? You guys really don't want people to take advantage of the extra XP you get?
Look at that top level trolling.
That is good. That is good.
The psychology is strong with that one.
But yes, it's funny. I mean, anything with a quest icon is obviously not usable in game. It's got that little red symbol beside it. It shows it's a different thing to the.
You can't even say like, "Oh, I'm a new player. I didn't know." You're in Prifddinas. If you got to Prifddinas without figuring out that quest items aren't usable outside of quests, like, I don't know how you managed to overlook that detail.
Yeah, but it's like all these stupid people we see who are wearing party hats and all that, and you're going, you are so dumb. How can you even afford that?
Doesn't take intelligence to purchase things on black market sites. In fact, it takes a lack of intelligence to purchase things on black market sites.
This is true.
Anyway, that was our last post for the day, I think.
And that one does win the idiot of the week.
That was a pretty good one.
Actually, we forgot to announce the guy with the PK as the Tiger 100 award.
Oh yeah, that PKers post was freaking classic. Tiger 100 Hall of Fame nominee, definitely. Speaking of announcements, I do want to remind everyone the 29th is the end of the year review show. That's what we're aiming for. So rain or shine, as far as I'm concerned, how I'm feeling, we're going to be live on Friday, the 29th. Few weeks away at this point. We're going to be doing the whole year in review. We got a bunch of yeses from most of our co-hosts, so that should be a good time. I'm looking forward to that. We have another ongoing clan competition this month. It is Constitution, I believe. So if you want to win a set of rubber turkeys, you could do so by entering into the Constitution XP if you're a member of the clan.
Speaking of which, I owe you that 25 million, and also Fatty 420 said he wanted to kick on him too, so have a chat to him when you see him.
Okay, cool. So there is definitely going to be a cash reward as well for the first few places then, depending on... I will make sure the first place gets a little bit more, and then second and third I'll just divide evenly. Cool. So again, if you want to win some cash and rare items that may or may not ever come back into the game.
No, they are limited
run items. Excuse me. I didn't say discontinued. I said they're rare items. Rare items that may or may not come back. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on a set of rubber turkeys, you can do so by placing first place in Constitution for the month of December. We'll be giving away those on the 31st. including all the money and stuff, and yay. Clans also hopefully getting some love in the next couple of months. I don't know if you saw that. I haven't really talked about it on the show too much, but the clan avatars are finally getting the axe. They're going away in favor of capping will be the new way that you obtain your 6% boost, and the 3% boost will just be maintained by upkeep in the Citadel, I believe. So you'll be able to get your fealty up, and that's how you'll be able to cap. And we have, obviously, no one has really set any guidelines as to how that's going to work, but I think it's going to be a better system overall.
Yeah. I hope that they will allow us, like, when you've skilled, you reach that, you've skilled enough this week to earn an experience boost from the Quartermaster. So that's about half of your capping. I hope that's where they set the level.
Apparently that's where fealty comes from.
Yes.
I thought fealty came from capping, but if it comes from
fealty, once you hit that, yes. That's what I do each week, basically. I get it at that point. Sometimes I'll go further if it needs it, but once it's capped, I'm thinking, no, I'll just
what
I'll
I've
go
done
down there and do my bit. But
since this new rule is being brought in, what I've decided to do is I just give 30 minutes a day to the Citadel. You know, like my abs. You 30 minutes a day, and you'll have rock hard F. So I just give 30 minutes a day to the Citadel, and by the end of the week, I'm generally done with capping. So I basically I do all my auras in the morning. I get all my auras out of the way, and then once I'm out of auras, then I pop up to the Citadel for 30 minutes. You know, get about a third of the way or a quarter or whatever I get done, and then off I go back to fletching till this is fucking over. But yeah, that's how I've been doing it, and I'm just trying to get my fealty up to 3. But I think we're gonna have a choice as a clan where we want to set it at. I think you can set it at fealty 1, 2, or 3, depending on where you want the 6% boost to be. I think the 3% boost is fealty 1, and then I think you can set the 6% boost to just also be fealty 1, or you could set it to fealty 2 or 3. Not 100% sure about that. It was worded a little bit ambiguously, but I'm really hoping to see this in the next month or so, because I really hate not being able to have a familiar and the 6% boost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that update, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well, because they are probably sick of watching me hop worlds with the avatar. So I'm looking forward to that happening. I hate the avatar. It's a stupid idea. It was a cool idea 10 years ago, but it's not cool anymore. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this show. Anything else you want to add into the end here, or are we good to go?
No, I think that's it. Just don't forget, everybody, stay tuned after the show. We are going to tack on the patch notes to that. It was a 32-minute video for the patch notes, so we didn't want to sit here in silence for half an hour just running that in the middle of the show, so that will be tacked on to the end for you guys to listen to.
If you're
there was a ton of it in there.
Yeah, it's gonna extend the length of the show considerably. So if you are interested in having the patch notes read to you instead of having to read through 3 freaking pages, stand by. Pern is going to be taking over. But also I do want to mention that there was a pre-show to this show, and you can obtain that at patreon.com/RuneScape. You can pledge any amount you'd like and get access to the pre-show, and it will be we've done this year. And if you want to pledge a little bit more, you can, and unlock some of the other content. We've done full shows at different levels as well. Those are all going to be, once the New Year's rolls around, $5 is going to get you access to our whole archive. So that's a good place to be if you want eventual access to everything we have on Patreon. There's hundreds of posts with different types of content in it, but hundreds of hours as well of content that you may never have heard before, and is just as timely as ever. So check it out, patreon.com/RuneScape if you're interested. And if you want, you can keep up to date with when we're going live and when new shows are being posted, because sometimes we don't do shows live. If I don't have the energy to do a show live, then we just do a pre-recorded one like we're doing right now. And you can get information on stuff like that by going into our Discord channel at discord.runeweek.com. That'll get you into our Discord. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us 24/7, round the clock. You can also check us out on social media. We have a Facebook page for you, facebook.com/rsweekly. We've got a Twitter for you as well, at rsweekly, if you would like to join us in any of those locations as well. We also I do a lot of retweeting on Twitter from the JMods, so if you're interested in what JMods have to say, mainly the important things that they say, I do retweet a lot of that stuff, so if you follow us, you'll get those retweets. Instead of having to follow hundreds of different JMods, I do it for you. And you can also rate us and view us in the podcast shop if you want to. We really appreciate that. And like the video if you're watching this on YouTube. Really does help us get exposure if you like the video, so we do appreciate that as well. And of course, check us out at twitch.tv/Magebit if you want to check out all of our other live content as well. Always love having you over there. It's magebit.tv is the short link to get to our Twitch channel. And we've been light on content for December. I've been feeling rather crappy with this just freaking GI issue that has been ongoing, and I'm just toughing it out. Not much else I can do, but it's ruining my voice and causing quite a bit amount of pain. So I really apologize for not being able to do the amount of shows that I want to do. And thank you for those who are appreciative to have any content that we produce. I really appreciate those who don't think it's that big of a deal. And for everyone else, I apologize, but thanks for sticking with us. And we'll continue doing what we're doing here, and as things get better, the amount of content I produce will also get better. Anyway, big special thanks to everyone on Patreon who is supporting us in our top Patreon spot. Really do appreciate everyone who's supporting us there. Again, we're going to rework all that Patreon stuff coming at the end of the month for the new year. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, that's going to do it for this episode of Runescape Weekly. Thank you for sticking through. Sorry if I haven't been my full energetic self. I think we did pretty good though. I really tried to reach down into the barrel and snag some energy for this little broadcast. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week to do it all over again. And make sure you're following us on Twitch. If everything's going, if I'm doing all right, we'll be live on Sunday. No promises. There's no set schedule right now for the rest of December because I don't want to promise things I can't deliver on. So we'll, pick back up in the new year with a set schedule. And for now, we'll just, roll through December as is and just treat every live stream as a treasure. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, happy escaping.